And we back, y'all. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. Well, I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my girl, Mrs. Besh. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello.
And also make sure you subscribe to her channel. Her information is here, as well as my description box. Any review or recaps that I do not do on my channel personally, we go ahead and do on her channel, such as Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. We will have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when it comes back on her channel as well. So you have a lot to look forward to. The Real Housewives are coming in with a bang. So as we began an era of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 5, just a moment ago, we are ending an era of Real Housewives of Dubai season 2 reunion part 2, and I am so happy because Bravo in this call center. I need to address y'all because I have never seen such foolery in all of my life. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all can mindfuck Ayan all y'all want to. I don't fall for that same shit because that's exactly what y'all were trying to do in this part of the reunion. And it was annoying, and y'all should know better that we're not stupid. We see exactly what y'all were trying to do. And it failed because I see right through all of them. So, Mrs. Best, I'm going to do things a little differently here on this one because I don't really want to go through a tit for tat with everybody did. How did you feel part 2 of this reunion went? And then I'm going to begin.
It definitely could have been better. I know that there's a uncensored or unedited version or something like that that's on Peacock, but oftentimes those disappoint and there's not much that we see that was a big deal or that I would think that we missed. So I don't know. Dubai had really low ratings as a whole, which I think is a shame because though they don't give much and at times it can seem boring when you think of what Housewives started as, like a bunch of, rich housewives living lives that are different from what most of us are used to. It gives that. It's not violent or anything crazy like that. But I feel like Bravo could, you know, promo it more. They also took too long between season 1 to season 2. So people start to forget about it. But separate from that, I don't like this whole Lisa, Ayan, Brooks, Stanberry. Like, I'm tired of this beef going. I don't like what's happening, especially when real friendships break up. And if you're gonna tell us stuff, show us everything. Don't just show us clips of stuff, Bravo. What are you doing? Show everything, because they literally showed us that there was more that they were not showing us. And I'm like, why would you do that? There was no
Well,
resolve either.
yeah, there's no resolve, and then it makes it seem like the things that we should have been at a context clue about, they just immediately just erased that. And it was like, well, if you would have showed that, we could have felt differently. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this: I don't feel any differently with any of these things. I don't feel any differently. I still feel how I feel. So let's get into the episode. So we actually end up opening back where we left off with this whole situation with Brooks and Rafi and how they keep wanting to bring up that they've had a long-standing relationship before him and even Talene were together. They keep bringing this up, and I'm like, okay, what y'all are alluding to when y'all do this is y'all are making it seem like Brooks and Rafi had something going on before he got with Talene. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly to protect my channel. But is given that kind of energy, or is it just me? Mrs. Best, did you feel that way? Because I feel like they're alluding to something.
it, it they're definitely alluding to something, but I'm like, if y'all not gonna talk about it or didn't want it to come out, then why is Talene on this show? Why? So it's obviously something deeper there because he did feel very comfortable to be aggressive with Brooks, and Talene seemed okay with it too, but their whole dynamic is weird, this
Hey,
friendship.
Jim Bunny, thank you for watching us, love. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is weird. I'm sorry, guys, I had to go off camera because I noticed how it was a bit delayed here. So, but yeah, it was very weird because it was like, okay, what's going on here? What are y'all not saying? Y'all are talking in context clues here. What are we talking about? What happened? Because as I said, y'all, that night when he was saying, "Hey, this is my wife," it was those words that made me feel like something ain't right with y'all too. I don't know what it is, but it was that energy because he didn't have to say that. All he had to say was, "Hey, look, y'all been friends for years. This ain't the time or place. Like, let's do this another time. Or let's then why don't you come over to the house and y'all can talk this out later." That would have been appropriate energy. This energy was like, "Hey, this is my wife, and I'm going to defend her." And it was like, "Okay, we're not even talking about that. Where are you getting at?" Like, so I don't know. So Selena standing on that she did not beg Brooks to be on this show. She didn't beg her to be on season one. And Brooks, like, you're lying. You begged me to be on the show season one, and I couldn't get you in, so I got you in now, and now you still have a problem. And Andy was like, okay, well, can we agree to disagree on this? Because obviously it was great that she brought you on the show. And yeah, I agree with that. And so they break for lunch. And they were like, and Talene was like, I just want her to apologize and to be sincere. And I'm looking at Talene like, okay, and the same could be said about you because your apologies don't land. You apologize, but then you have to go, but do you see my point? Or I apologize, but don't act like you don't date rich men. Oh, I apologize for saying you did that, but don't act like it was kind of like it was backhanded. So it was like Talene, your apologies don't land either. If I was Brooks, I wouldn't apologize to you because I ain't got nothing to apologize for. So the ladies meet up in Talene's room, and Brooks was like, "Look, I don't want to have a problem with you. Like, I want us to move on." And Talene was like, "Well, I want us to move on too, but in order for you to do that, you need to apologize for the things you said. It is not true for some of those tweets. Like you talking about we inviting people into our bedrooms. You know that's not true." But she said it, and once again, Talene does very subtle, like microaggressions, where it kind of feels like, no, you don't want it to come out on camera because I don't one thing about Brooks, she may be over the top, but I don't feel like Brooks lies. I don't. I've not seen her lie. Was she crazy? Yes, but I don't think it's a lie. I don't know. I just for me, it didn't feel like a lie to me. It felt like you didn't want it to come out. And if that was the case, you could have just stood on that versus trying to make her apologize for something that could be very much so true. So, Mrs. Best, how do you feel about their running with each other?
Yeah, I'm annoyed with the whole Talene and Brooke situation as a whole. Um, I don't think their friendship was that deep in the first place. I must say what Jim Bunny said. They had some dealings.
Yeah, I feel like that as well. So, everyone's in their separate quarters talking. Ayan is talking with Stansberry about how, this whole Lisa thing and her calling her this victim and everything. And Stansberry's like, yeah, every time she says that, like I go in my head and just angry at her for calling you that. And I'm just looking at them too, like, y'all are some goofy broads, both of you. Bravo, Lord Jesus. Let's go back onto the stage because we're gonna get this nip this in the bud right now because I'm tired. I'm tired of this because this we talked about this for almost a half hour of what happened. So Lisa and Chanel Ayan then get on the stage and then they talk about their friendship and how things started to go rocky. So Lisa said on day one, it started with her at that tennis match and Rihanna was pregnant. So because Rihanna and Chanel Ayan are, on social media hitting each other up, Lisa was like, well, hey, tell her about Mina Rowe and how we have maternity wear, and it's nice since you're getting advisement on your makeup line. And Shania was like, well, I don't feel comfortable because I haven't even asked for what I need her for. So I didn't really feel comfortable with doing that. So Lisa felt a way about it. And she goes, but and then Shania felt offended. She goes, so that's when it started because I couldn't get you anything with Rihanna. You got angry with me. And I was like, well, no, that's not the point. Ayan, I need you to sit down and context this. So the next thing that comes up was the whole thing about the tennis court, or not tennis court, the golf thing that Talene and her husband threw, and how the other girls were saying that when it comes to Lisa, like you always go for back for her and you draw blood and you're always more rambunctious than when you're not with her. You're very likable, and they're all saying that to her. And once again, as I told you guys when that shit happened, that was a complete mind fuck. Lisa knew, and that's why I'm telling you, the American women knew that that was a mind fuck, and they knew that that shit would work. And Lisa's no fool. That's why when she said, I don't want to talk about it, it's because she knew it was a mind fuck. We all sitting there looking at Ayan like, why are you letting these girls play with your head and making you think that just because you're loyal to your friend, that that's a bad thing? Because 9 out of 10, they were wrong. And in that instance, Brooks was wrong, and so was Talene, the two people that were telling her this. So I was like, Ayan, why aren't you not putting two and two together? Mrs. Best, before I move on to the next thing that pissed me off about this scene, how did you feel about them bringing that up and then them trying to deflect, saying that she's a good person outside of Lisa?
You can't say that somebody's one way outside of somebody. Either she's a good person or she's not, and there's no in between. So I agree with you. Like, Ayana's stupid. If that's all it takes for you to let go of somebody who's been a genuine friend to you on and off camera for so many years, then you're thirsty. Ayan, and I've been saying this since season 1. She wants to be the center of attention. She wants to be like, she has to be popular. She says a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. She contradicts herself. She acts like she's not as smart as she actually is. I think she's extremely manipulative. But at the same time, I also think she gets blinded by wanting to be liked uh, to points where it impacted her friendship. So I don't know. If I was Lisa, I would never, the friendship will never be the same.
I wouldn't trust her either. And then so I'm gonna go on to the last thing, and this is the thing that really sent me over the head because I feel like we missing the whole point about this. And I feel like Bravo was trying to paint it as something else. And I'm like, y'all are not y'all can't mind fuck me. I know exactly what happened here. So the thing comes up about the voice note. And Chanel Ayan, she put it out there that she had told Lisa that she shared the voice note with Stansberry, and Lisa was like, "No, you did not say that. You said that she's about to reveal something, and you're nervous." And Sarah and Talene were like, "Well, production said that you knew about the voice note." So, and Diane was like, "Yeah, you had to know. See, I told you," and just making all this noise. And I'm looking at all of them like, I don't give a fuck if she knew about it or not. The point is, you shared something that was a messy moment between you and your best friend, and the loyalty and solidarity you needed to have was between you two. It did not mean that you should have went and go and play it for a lady that you know your best friend is not in the best place with, and play it for her to then use it as ammunition for another lady she doesn't like in your circle. So the point is that you betrayed her. That's what she's mad about. It's not about whether or not she knew or not. And they put too much focus on that. They put way too much emphasis on whether or not Lisa knew or not. I don't give a fuck if she knew or not. That still does not take away what Ayan did. And another thing, if Lisa knew the context of what Ayan did at that moment, then what the fuck did Ayan apologize to her for at that table then? I'm not apologizing for some shit I already told you and have already apologized for, so I'm not going to apologize again. So once somebody answers that question from Bravo in that call center, then I will move the hell on. But I'm still standing on, at the end of the day, I don't care if Lisa knew or not, the action was still done to betray her and her trust. So y'all can miss me with that. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I pretty much feel like Ayan is just looking to put any form of blame on Lisa so that she's not the one that looks wrong. She doesn't want to look bad. She doesn't want to look wrong. She's really concerned with how she looks. So that's why I say with Lisa, she should just keep it moving. And sometimes you have friends for reasons, seasons, and everything in between. And maybe Ayam was the everything in between, but the trust is like super, super broken because, like you said, you shared something that was personal between us, and then you shared that with someone that you knew I already had reservations about, and someone that those reservations came from how they were shady. So it's like you knew you couldn't trust this girl, and you still chose to share the information. So Ayan just dropped the ball as a whole. I'm sure there's stuff that Ayan feels Lisa has done as well, but Lisa's not done anything to betray her trust. And you can't expect us, Ayan, to be upset at Lisa because you agreed to do these things that you're accusing her of. You agreed to go along with it while you guys were cool. So it's like you can't expect anybody to be mad at her for you choosing to make a decision. So I'm over Ayan. I'm like, this season turned me all the way off from her.
It just bothers me, like when you read the comments of like, "Oh, well, Lisa's fake. If she knew about it, then why she get mad at that table and why she turn on Ayan?" And I'm like, see, for me, it's not about her turning on Ayan. For me, it's about the simple fact that if I am on like the ends for my friend and I'm trying to tell her, look, this is a messy moment. I have this thing that she said, and we're gonna laugh about it and kiki. It's not up for you to then go and tell somebody that I don't like just because you want to get in good with her. That's why I said Ayan is really just like when
I
I
kind
tell
of
y'all I
like
was so
feels like
angry.
I feel like they're both kind of fake and lying about various things. I feel like they're both wrong to a certain extent. The only thing I got from everything that came out was everybody is working so hard to pre-produce on a show that's supposed to be reality TV where you should just let things happen naturally. So personally, they're both a little bit wrong, but Ayana's the one who is wrong with the major and massive amounts of manipulation attempts. And that's what bothers me about her. But both of these heifers is fake. Both of these heifers is wrong. That's why they was getting along.
It just bothered me to my core. Like I was like, man, I couldn't believe Ayan. I just couldn't like, and I couldn't believe these women are going along with this as if. I mean, yes, Lisa is wrong to some degree, but she's no more wrong than Ayan, who this one the same light of day had she not played it. So then we move on from there, and then we have this section where she had talked to Brooks, and Brooks had said that Ayan told me that she, wished hell on you and your family. She wished death upon y'all, and Lisa said, I don't believe you. I don't believe she would say that even at the height of where we are today. I don't believe that that's what was said. So she goes, prove it. So Brooks called Ayan and confirmed it, and Lisa heard it. And everyone's like, oh, Brooks, you're so shady. Brooks, how could you do that? Why would you drive a wedge? My thing is this: Ayan shouldn't have said it. Because had she not said it, then Brooks wouldn't have it as ammunition to use against her.
Just because you're mad, and that's what Ayan does to manipulate stuff. Just because I get mad at somebody, don't mean that I'm suddenly gonna wish that they were not alive. Like that's not normal. That's not a normal thought process. Just because you're mad doesn't mean you say things like, "Oh, I wish this person would no longer be living," or things of that nature. Like it's not normal. Everybody want to turn it on Brooks because she called to show that she's telling the truth. But like she said, y'all was gonna tell me I was lying if I didn't call. So now you know that it was really said. But instead of holding Ayan accountable, you're gonna be mad at Brooks. Like I don't like what's happening with the cast whatsoever. I hope that Bravo like intervenes and changes it because the dynamic is stupid.
It is stupid. And to me, I felt like with the whole Brooks situation and them coming down on her, I kind of felt like, once again, why are we holding Ayan accountable? Because Lisa heard it with her own ears. So it's like, so we're more mad at Brooks because she validated what was said in probably a casual conversation. So we're going to be okay with that being said, but we're, not going to be okay with the person who's saying, hey, she's saying this about you and I feel it's messed up. I'm gonna tell y'all like this: if someone said something about Mrs., it probably wouldn't even get to this point. I probably wouldn't even tell Mrs. Bliss. I would handle it on my own accordance because that's my best friend, and I'm gonna handle it already. She probably wouldn't even know about it. But the thing about it is, if I had to tell her, I'm not expecting everybody to get mad at me because one, my loyalty is with her. At the end of the day, I don't care what y'all talking about, and I kind of feel like to some degree, Brooks has, if not the friendship loyalty, she has the black woman loyalty where she in it because that's another black woman in a TV show that's already dominated by other colors. So I think that that's where Brooks really does stand with Lisa. I don't feel like it's no best friend shit. I feel like it's because, hey, game recognized game. We both black women on the show, and the other black woman ain't acting right. So now we got to kind of make sure she see the light. So that's what she's doing. And I'm not mad at her for it because I feel like, once again, y'all are trying to gaslight Lisa and y'all trying to excuse me, I can't even speak, villainize Brooks. It's like, that's what y'all are doing sitting on that couch. And it was disgusting to watch. And for Ayan to sit up there and holler and jump up and down and doing all that shit she was doing, it was like, man, had you not fell for the mind fuck, we would not be here. Oh, it was so crazy.
But that's what people do when they know that they wrong. The loudest person in the room just be loud and wrong. That's usually how it go. And Ayan this whole time was loud to where she literally resorted at certain points to actually just screaming. Like she didn't let nobody speak. She knows when she has done something or acted a fool on this show, and instead of owning it, she just went a different direction. I do agree with you also with Brooks. You could tell like Brooks and Lisa, they not cool, but they're like, listen, we black women, we should look out for each other. And Ayan is just somewhere in the wind. So
I agree. I agree completely. So Andy was like, "Well, you know what? Forget it. We'll just leave it at this. I was hoping you two could come to some resolution and not leave it like this." And I said, "I don't want to leave it like this. Like, I love Lisa. That is my friend. We've been friends for 8 years. I love her kids. I love her husband. Like, I really, hopefully, can get to a better place with her. My door is open." And Lisa reciprocated, I didn't intend for it to get this bad between us either. And I love you as well. And my door is also open. So maybe once this is all over, we can have that moment where we can try to repair it. And I feel like it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same because as long as Ayan is still trying to be up Caroline Stansberry's ass, and as long as Lisa is still feeling a certain type of way about that friendship, it will never be what it was. Because Lisa's already been burned. And I feel like Lisa's the kind of person, once you've burned her, that scab will never heal. It just never will. So
I
I feel
think
like that
that's a
friendship is
good
over.
way to be at that age with friends. Like I'm not there yet, but once I get to my 40s, I'm not about to be arguing with these heifers the way that I was having slight issues with people when younger, like high school years. Like at some point, I feel like your friends should just be like an enjoyable experience, a safe space, safe person to talk to. Like nobody, once somebody betrays you, like you said, it's just never going to be the same. It never will. Uh, they ain't gonna be cool. If they are, I would look at Lisa crazy. It's okay sometimes to leave people where they are once they show you who they are. I feel like she needs to leave Ayan right where she's at. Because, like you said, if my friendship with someone is based upon who they choose to have a friendship with, then our friendship is not that strong, and I don't have time for that.
And I agree with you. There was also another thing that happened in here. It's very small and minuscule, but a lot of people felt online this didn't land, and I think you guys weren't reading into the context of this. So Lisa made a point to Stansberry about how she was coming after her business, saying that she was stealing other people's designs, and that she didn't have no, views on her website. So Lisa made it a point to buy a journal that is part of Stansberry's company, and said that this is your notebook, and this is the actual manufacturer, and this is a competitor, and you did a complete plagiarism because it's the same thing. And she goes, "Well, I never said I wrote it." I said, "No, but you also implied that Lisa doesn't do her own designs." So she's making the point to say that you're accusing me of some shit that you do as well. That's what her point was. And everyone was like, "That's not landing." That's no, it definitely landed. It's just the point is, y'all are all up Stansberry's asses where y'all didn't really see the context. And Lisa didn't execute it well. She didn't. But I actually saw where she was coming from because that is the same thing. That plagiarism is the same thing as someone saying stealing someone else's designs that you're alleging. She said the same thing about you, so she pretty much did what you did. So that's the point that she's made about your coming after her business because you did. Exactly. And this was what cracked me up about online and social media when that first came out and posted, especially on IG. A lot of people's like, "Lisa, that didn't land. That didn't make any points." I'm like, don't think y'all don't
Yep,
think at all. That landed
yep.
extremely well.
It
That was a
landed
great point.
extremely well, and they didn't just she makes it sound simpler than it is. Oh, you come from my business. They didn't just throw shade. They made accusations against her that could have made her lose business, take
Hmm.
away her credibility. and could have embarrassed some of the celebrities who have worn some of the clothes from her line. So it's like it's not okay. But because Caroline Stansberry is a little more fair skinned than others, of course she got away with that. But it's also on Bravo because that was years ago, almost 5 years ago. So it's kind of like, Bravo, if you guys wouldn't have waited so many years in between this season and the previous season, it probably would have helped it to land a little bit more as well, because nobody's reminded of that years later.
Hmm. Absolutely. No, I remember Brooke Stansberry doing that. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember her doing that. I totally remember the accusations that she placed out. So when Lisa does the same thing and she was making a point, y'all wanted to downplay. That's why I was all like, no, Lisa, that and Lisa, if you, I don't know if she'll ever watch my show, my reviews, but Lisa, no, I understood exactly what you were saying. I understood exactly the context of how you delivered that. It landed with those of us who actually know what you were talking about. So don't feel like, just because they shut you down, that that went like that went unseen and that went unheard. No, I knew exactly the point you were trying to make. So yes. Um, Other than that, they had this weird gift exchange. The only thing I'm gonna mention about that is that Brooks had put out a tweet to Talene saying, "Name an article of clothing that I borrowed from you. Name the time and place of where I wore it," because she's never borrowed anything from her. So Talene said, "Checkmate. Here it is. That is the article of clothing you borrowed from me, and there's the scene you wore it in. So don't be trying to play me." And I feel like that was one thing I will give Talene that made Brooks look stupid. That's the only thing I'm gonna give Talene. Other than that, I don't see it for Talene.
Let me tell y'all, this is so stupid. I don't care how rich I ever become because I intend to get rich somehow. But I don't really give a damn if my girlfriend has worn something of mine. If I call some of my partners on FaceTime right now, sometimes these heifers be answering the clothes in my clothes. Sometimes as girlfriends, at least in my little friend groups and the friends that I have, like we will share clothes, exchange clothes, like little things like that. It's just what we do. Except I don't like sharing shoes because I feel like that's not sanitary. But like that's just what people do sometimes when they close. So it's like it's not a big deal if she did wear an outfit of yours on the show. Who cares? Like the gift exchange was stupid. And to me, usually they try to go for resolutions at reunions, but the gift exchange was like, okay, we want to just move on. But now let's reopen all of these things through petty gifts. I was like, why? What is the point, Bravo? They could have just sliced some cake and gave them some fucking champagne, in my opinion. But, you know, to each his own.
I agree. That didn't do anything for me. And if anything, that made this show even more ridiculous. Bravo, y'all got to do better than this. And y'all need to be fair too. I'm gonna say this as well. Y'all need to be fair because the fact that I'm still thinking about Lisa being gaslit and y'all trying to make Brooks the villain, that to me just speaks volumes of what y'all were trying to execute on behalf of Stansberry, Talene, and them. I don't like that. And you know what? At the end of the day, y'all can do away with this show and we won't miss it. I can prove that to y'all. We won't miss it. The only reason why I'm recapping because I needed content for my channel. I didn't like this season. This was terrible. I feel like it was okay for the moment, but all of them pretty much have lost me. I don't like any of them. And I still stand. I said that in the beginning, hoping that some of them will win me over. And I still stand to that today. I don't like any of them now. So that was pretty much, we're ending it on a note with Real Housewives of Dubai. Y'all, I don't know if I'm gonna do season 3. We will see. But as far as that, I don't
That's
see
if
any of
they get a season 3. They said that Dubai had some of the lowest ratings that Bravo has seen in over a decade of any show. So that's if they can get renewed for season 3. But it looked like people don't care if it's canceled. And I agree, a bitch stay winning. Andy did not care about this reunion. You could tell. You could tell he did not care. He said, y'all do not make me enough money for me to be sitting here with a heifer on each ear hollering into. Like, no, he did not care.
That's because
I
their
don't.
drama is manufactured, and the only drama that was authentic to me was Ion and Lisa's. That was the only thing that was authentic to me. Otherwise, all the rest of the drama, especially Brooks and Talene, because to me, that's underlying tension from some other shit. That does not seem like that's real to me. That is some shit that I feel like Brooks has even more on them, and that's why I said I'm really leaning on the fact that
Brooke gets drunk and spends the night, and things happen when she spends the night,
no,
allegedly.
I'm telling you, it's given. I feel like Brooks and Rafi had a thing before him, and Talene had a thing. I'm gonna say allegedly to protect my channel, but I'm starting to believe that more and more. Like the more I think about it, the more I feel like, oh, they probably had something going on before he got with Talene. And that microaggressive energy that she has is, something that probably she secretly wanted him or something. I don't know. It's a weird energy. And Brooks gives me that kind of vindictive woman that would befriend a lady that used to, that messes her or married to a man that she used to mess with. She does give me that. So yeah, I and this too. I they don't keep Ayana. If they don't keep nobody else, they don't keep Ayana because that's the puppet. They need a puppet. They realize they can't do it with Brooks. They can't do it with Lisa, and the other women are just so giddy that it just get them off my screen, y'all. Get on my screen, but I didn't act like it was no big deal for him to be yelling and screaming at her. And he does that with a lot of the women. Like he did it on the Married to I remember there was one season of Married to Medicine. Was it Married to Medicine where he was like, "Oh my god, like shut the fuck up" or something? Like he said something that was crazy, and I was like, "Oh no, no, you not." I don't remember. I don't remember which show it was, and I'm gonna get mad at myself because I feel like it's off the tip of my tongue. But he was cussing at them and everything. I'm trying to remember. Was it Married to Medicine?
You know what, Jim Bunny? You brought up Sarah, and I was really annoyed with this reunion that they did not talk about her parenting a little bit more because the internet was in shambles behind her exposing
That's why I didn't
herself.
talk about it. You see why I
They
didn't
should.
mention it at all? Because they were skating around that shit. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna mention it either. Fuck Sarah and her parenting. Because to me, I feel like Sarah be on bullshit half the time. Um, yep, and that's what I'm saying. They say, yep, it is definitely do that to black cast members. I know it was either Married to Medicine or it was Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember he was saying "shut the fuck" or something to that degree. Um, they're not. But these women so thirsty for money that they gonna accept that shit. But yeah, the whole Sarah back to Jim Bunny's. I didn't want to talk about that because Sarah was on bullshit. She's talking about her son is so much better and that he loved the nanny and stuff like that. And I felt like I wanted someone to ask Sarah. Maybe next season, if there is one, I will tweet the question. Why would you involve your son so much into that? Because she was like, I expose my son to everything because I want him to be self-aware. And I was like, kids could be self-aware at an age where they understand what being self-aware is. Your son is not of that age. So to me, you're raising him in a way where it's going to fundamentally screw him in the long run. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how Dubai is, but in the States, somebody's gonna get a hold of that little boy. Like, someone will get a hold of the little boy and just really just mess up his mind because she makes it easy. She doesn't have a good track record with men. When they asked her that question, like, do you regret bringing a king around him? She goes, no, because I want him to experience it. And I'm like, why? Why would you want your son to experience a man that was fucked up towards you, that made you walk away from opportunities, that made you feel like because you were doing a podcast with another man, you were not worthy of making the money that was offered to you, but he could take a job with his barely in clothes on and make just 1,000 or whatever she said. Come on, like Sarah be on bullshit, y'all. That's why I don't see it for Sarah. Out of all the women here, I don't see it for Sarah the most. So exactly, this is how I feel. And where was Saba? Because she was very involved in the season. Where was Saba? Why didn't she come on here and explain some shit?
You know
See,
what? That's a good observation. She was not there.
no, she wasn't. And I felt like I needed some answers from her too. Is this shit real between you and Sarah and this member of y'all business? This the symbol of y'all business? Is that true? Like they have so much shit out, y'all. I am just like, I can't with Dubai. I can't. Like I can't with them. Like this is crazy to me. So that's pretty much it. That's all that really happened, y'all. It wasn't too much of nothing. I'm glad this shit is over. Real Housewives of Dubai is going to get replaced on my channel with, I think, what show is coming on in Real Housewives of Potomac. They're in October, and Bell Collective is back November 1st. So we'll have Bell Collective back as well. I kind of feel like this too, Jim Bunny. I do. I know it's being alleged. I mean, someone said that article was fake, but I don't believe it's fake. I don't. I think some shit happened. I just did Salt Lake City Gym Bunny. That was the show I did before this one. So it's back on my channel. You can go ahead and watch a replay of it. It was quite an interesting little recap. It was very short because it was one little scene with a bunch of cut ups. So, but that was pretty much it, y'all. Anything else you want to go over, Mrs. Best? Anything you have? Okay, like Mrs. Best has not spoken, but that's okay, y'all. That's about it. So I'm gonna end the live here. We're gonna be Miami's gonna be on Mrs. Best channel. So we will do Miami on Mrs. Best channel. Salt Lake City will be on my channel. Are you doing that love show that Taylor met Jay on? Which show was that? A bit when? Are you talking about that shit with Giselle, Ashley, Luann, and all them? Um, oh, you're talking about Queen's Court. So, Mrs. Best, do you want to make that announcement on my channel? Think Mrs. Best walked away from her computer because I don't think she's coming back here. But we may do Queen's Court on Mrs. Best channel. We were talking about it earlier today. I don't want to speak for her, like kind of in this way, but we talked about it this morning. I'm not sure if she's going to do it or not, but yes, I would love to pick up that show. I don't know if I'm doing it on my channel, but we'll talk about it more and we'll make an announcement on one of my other videos, whether it be an updates video or she is saying yes, she will recap. So
I'm
yes.
so sorry. My cat had stepped on the computer and I didn't. He muted me somehow. But yes, I will be recapping Queen's Court. My bad.
Yeah, so there she has spoken. So she has announced on my channel that she will be picking up Queen's Court, and of course, I am going to be there to also recap with her. One, because she's my best friend, and then two, I equally can't stand Lisa Ray, K Michelle, and Delicious all at the same time. So I'm really excited to see how this goes because I feel like these are three of the most problematic women in like reality history. I think this casting of them is epic. I do. I think this is like probably one of the best things I could see because yeah, I'm just thinking, K Michelle. Oh my god, I can't wait. So yeah, we definitely would be watching. We would definitely be recapping. So you guys make sure you stay tuned for Mrs. Best channel. If y'all are not subscribed to my girl, this is a good chance for y'all to get subscribed to her because we will definitely be going. And I'm not sparing no expense on anybody. So I did an interview and said out her mouth the beef is real. Oh, okay. I need to find that interview. I need to find that interview then. Let me go and search that up here. But we're gonna go to Mrs. Best channel because we have to do Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, y'all. So make sure you guys go over to her channel because we will be there in a few minutes. And I thank you guys once again for joining us. We appreciate it. As we say to end to this one, we will be doing the beginning of the next one. And I can't wait for Bell Collector to come back because that's been my show. So I'll see you guys on Mrs. Best channel. Don't be late now. I'll see you guys then. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. See you guys later. Bye-bye.